Hi girls, how are you doing? Okay, today I am demonstrating nail prep and application because we all want our nail wraps to look amazing when we put them on, right? So first of all, I'll just bring the camera down and show you what I've got to work with. So a nail file, an orange stick, a cuticle pusher, tweezers, scissors, an alcohol wipe, and a mini heater. Now, the mini heater, if you're just trying jams for the first time and you don't want to invest in it, that's totally fine. It's only 27, but you can use any heat source until you fall in love with jams and realize you can't live without them. So you could heat your jams up with a hairdryer. That's the most popular option. I find that one's probably the most tricky option because you have to hold the blow dryer and hold the wraps and juggle them, and blow dryers are quite hot as well, so sometimes it's not the best for the wrap. But you can use a toaster, your heater, car heaters. Plenty of girls put them on in the car on the way to work. Also, did I say a toaster? Maybe. Over a straightening iron, anything that gives off a little bit of heat is perfect. Heat and pressure are your friends when applying. So, okay, step one is your prep. I always wash my hands with dish liquid before I get started. You want to have nice clean hands anyway, and that cuts the grease, unlike lots of hand sanitizers and whatnot, which often have moisturizers in them. So that will put oils into your nails rather than taking them out. So you want to take the oils out of your nails, so dish liquid is the best way to go. Then what you need to do is not just push back your cuticles, but get rid of the invisible cuticle. So if you don't know what I'm talking about, most people don't until you do it for the first time, is around the edge of your nail, on the actual nail, is 99% of the time invisible cuticle, okay? So if you use your cuticle pusher or orange stick, something sharp, and you rub around, don't worry, it doesn't hurt, and it's okay to take it off, it's not doing you any damage. Rub it around, little bits of white flaky stuff come off. You can see that there. There's a little bit there. And that is your invisible cuticle, and that holds oils, which wraps don't like. Oils and wraps are not your friend, okay? Once your wraps are on and set, you can wash your hands in anything, including mud and sanitizer and paint and whatever, and they are fine. But if you soak your hands in oil, it's a different story. Okay, so we want to get rid of the invisible cuticles, otherwise the oil will go from those invisible cuticles onto the adhesive and start breaking it down, and your wraps won't last the 2 weeks that ideally they should. Okay, so you've cut the grease, you've got rid of your invisible cuticles. If you're paranoid about it hurting, which it doesn't, but if you've got rather sensitive skin around the edges of your nails, you can soak them. So you can soak them in nice warm water for 5 to 10 minutes, and that will make it a lot easier for it to all come off and for you to push it back as well. That's a good tip for if you're applying the junior wraps to kids as well. It's a really good idea to soak their nails in water before you get started. Okay, so we push back the cuticles. Then I get my alcohol prep wipe, or we do have nail prep cleanser, which I like to use. And I'm just going to rub each nail and really get rid of those oils. If you are someone with super oily nails and you know it already, there is an option of soaking it in black tea, called black tea of course, and that actually changes the pH levels in your nails. So that's not everyone needs to do that, even if you've got a little bit oily, but if you know that you have really oily nails, that's a really good option. Okay, so I've done that, it's drying. I'm going to go, oh, I did forget something. My buffer block. Sorry about that. Okay, buffer block. The Jamboree ones are super fine because you don't need to work away at your nail to get it to stick, unlike shellac or acrylics where they file down half your nail before they put it on just so that they will stick. You don't need much at all, so you need just a tiny really light buff. I paid particular attention to the tips and the edges when I'm doing this, but really only very brief, because as I said before, heat and pressure are the main two things that get it to stick. Okay, nails all prepped. So just to recap, I did dishwashing liquid, I pushed back my cuticles, I prepped them with alcohol wipes or nail prep cleanser, and then I gave it a quick buff, and they are all ready to go. Now, the next step is finding the perfect wrap size. So I talked briefly a moment ago about how the oils break down the adhesive. That's the one thing that you don't want. Same thing when you're going for your wrap size. So if the edges of your wrap is touching the skin on the side of your nails, they're not going to last. They're going to lift on the sides. So what you need to do, it's got a clear backing to make it super easy for you. You go along and you find the wrap size that is slightly smaller than your actual nail. So that one's perfect for me. Now you notice it when you're looking on the side, but anyone looking at your nails won't see that tiny slither of nail either side. But they will see it lifting on the sides if you do pick one that's too big. So always err on the smaller side. Okay, so I've decided on this second wrap here. Each wrap does 2 nails. So I'm going to cut it now for both hands. And then I'm going to cut it in half. If you've got really short nail beds, you can make wraps last for 3 nails. Or you can just cut them properly to size, and you can use that extra bit in the middle for toes even. I got lots of wraps though, so I just just cut it in half, one per nail. Okay, so my wrap is slightly smaller than my nail, and what I need to do now, I'm just going to bring it down a little bit there, is I use the tweezers to pick it up. In lots of application videos they use an orange stick to pick it up off of the plastic. I'm not coordinated enough for that, so I use tweezers. So long as you're not using your fingers, because you don't want to touch the glue. As I said, oils in your skin break down the glue. You want it to last for a long time, so use tweezers. Or if you're super coordinated, use an orange stick like in other tutorials. But tweezers for us today. Okay, so step 1 is to place it nice and cold onto the nail, again making sure we're not touching the skin. So if it's not placed correctly, you can pick it up and put it back down again, so long as you haven't heated it yet. So see how it's just sitting on top of my nail there? Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to use my mini heater, or you could use your toaster, whatever you want to use, and give it a couple of seconds just in front of there. Then I'm going to push from the base to the tip and back again, using pressure. Okay, so that is just down the center of my wrap. Now I'm going to heat the side of my wrap. So this is called the 1, 2, 3 method. 1 down the middle, 2 down one side, and 3 down the other. So now I'm pushing down that side that's heated. I'm going to heat the other side, push that down. If you have metallic wraps, you use minimal heat and lots of pressure. Glossy wraps like this only are pretty easy. If it's your first time, I recommend starting with glossy wraps or matte wraps. Easy, so I'm just going to push it. Probably should show you here. You could also use your cuticle pusher to push really hard. Okay, then you can see there's a bit of overlay. What I'm going to do is use my nail scissors and I'm going to cut, a millimetre or two above the nail, and then I'm going to let it cool. Okay, so that's one wrap applied. Okay, next step would be just to let it cool first. So if you don't have much time, you can chuck your hand in the freezer for 5 seconds. I often do my whole hand, cut them all down almost to my nail, do my other hand, cut them all down, and then that first hand is completely cooled. The reason why you wait for it to cool is because it can stretch, it does stretch to shape your nail while it's warm, so you want to wait for it to cool back down so it shrinks back before you file it off, otherwise it can shrink back past your nail. So just let it cool a little bit, and then I won't do it because I don't want to ruin my pretty Starbucks wraps. But you get your nail file, and either at 90 degrees or slightly smaller, I would just file downwards, down and around, down and around. You never want to file back up that way, otherwise it'll lift at the tips. And the reason why you can tilt it a little bit there is so that the edge of the wrap is slightly back from your edge of your nail. Nothing noticeable, but so that if you're using your nails as tools, it doesn't lift. Okay, so that is applying your wraps. So prep is key. Push back those cuticles, get rid of that invisible cuticle. Prep with alcohol wipes, then give it a teeny little buff, then you pick a smaller wrap to put on your fingernail, place it down softly, heat the center, push down the center for 1, heat the side, push down the side for 2, heat the other side, push down the other side for 3, and then just go nuts with pressure. Okay, then you can cut the excess off if you want. You don't have to. It just makes it easier to maneuver your nails while you're doing the rest. Wait for it to cool and then file in a downward 90-degree motion. Okay, any questions, just pop them below and I will show you the finished product soon.